Yeah. I need to see this. There will be 20 seconds. Yeah. Need to see this. Can you go back to Zoom? I cannot think logical. There will be 20 seconds. Yeah. Need to see this. Can you go back to Zoom? I cannot think logical. There will be 20 seconds. Yeah. Kat, can you hear me still?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. We just focus on this. Okay.
I think the YouTube needs to be on. YouTube can't be on. Otherwise people can't hear. The YouTube cannot hear.
But it will double.
Really?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
The last time the testing was done was not good.
It has. But it will double. Yes.
Yes, I can.
The last time the testing was done was not good.
Can we just. Để có không phải ngọt thầy. Hello, Kat?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I think we should be ready because some other people are joining us. And then I'm so excited to talk to you this morning.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Excited to be here as well.
Okay. In case people haven't know who we are, I'm Polychain Managing Director of CLS Asia. Today we have the featured speaker, Kat from Singapore. Kat, would you like to say hello to everyone?
Hi everyone. I'm Keat from Flower Power. So I actually manage a social enterprise focusing on person with disability. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we have a very quick live podcast this morning for the first 20 minutes. And then I will try to squeeze as many leadership tips from Kat because he is a award-winning social entrepreneur. And then for the last 10 minutes, we'll open it to the floor. So we will be answering questions from the floor about what you want to know about the journey as a social entrepreneur. Okay, without further ado, let me start. Kat, I would like to just share a little bit high level how I see you as a successful social entrepreneur. But I would like to hear from you. What do you think about your own success? Okay. And
Okay.
then Kat actually was the former founding general manager of Dignity Kitchen. If you are based in Singapore, I think many of you actually heard about Dignity Kitchen because they are actually the Social Enterprise of the Year in 2015 as a presidential award for that year. And then few years ago, Kat just found another social entrepreneur journey with Flower Power. He's making use of Flower Power to actually change the life of SEN youth. Otherwise, they may not be able to get a job opportunity elsewhere. Kat, do you think you are successful as a social entrepreneur?
I think for me, the success journey is still an ongoing process. I'm still discovering new things. I would say we are still trying our best to help. Yeah, but success I would not deem it as the end, but it's a continual process of us doing good. Yeah.
Okay. And then, for many like leaders, they, especially those what I see as like successful, they're very humble like Kat. And then, but people today, they would like to learn more from you. Why cross ability? Why social innovation? Can you share a little bit more? Who are the people you're helping today? And why you think they have some special talent within them?
Yeah. So for us, our main target focus are person with disability. And in Singapore context, in particular, the 70% that are being assessed, not ready for open employment. So we realize that this is a bigger segment, but a lot of people put less effort to support them because first, there's less funding. Second, is a much more difficult group to work with. So that's our space where we wanted to look at how can we provide them quality of life, you know. So that's where Flower Power uh, works in terms of programming for them to continue to learn and grow. But we give them more time to do that. And we also have our bakery that we support some of those that has the ability to now go into employment. So that's the space that we are in. It's a bit more challenging, but I think that's the satisfaction that we get when we are able to see how they can actually grow and actually surpass the expectation even for caregiver.
I see. Thank you, like Kat, for giving us a little bit background about the SEN, like youth employment community in Singapore. You mentioned that 30% they might be able to still get open employment in the market, but you are helping those in the 70%. They have been assessed not suitable for open employment.
Yes.
How are you seeing them differently from their parents or other NGO that are also helping them for so long? What are the differences in terms of how you see their ability to learn?
I think for us, we look at them in different roles and different ability, especially when we take them in initially, right? So what we'll do is we just assess them their ability to learn. And then we'll look into what is, their behavioral challenges and why that. So maybe I give you an example of a boy that comes in, he has anxiety. So every time he has anxiety, he will start grabbing people, which will hurt. So that it breaks your skin, right? So what we do when we do the interview, we are also being grabbed, right? So we're also very stressed out, right? So normally people will just stop it at the point because self-harm, right? You can harm people also, right? So they will not take it in. So for us, what we do is we assess, we test him on his ability to learn. So we will do and perform certain things and we say, can you do the same thing? And we see how fast he learns. So this boy has very good learning ability. And then he had these issues where he cracked because of anxiety. So then how do we help him with reducing the anxiety or overcome the anxiety? That's why we decided to take him because he was actually rejected from every center. No one to take him, right? And from there on, we see his ability to grow, to learn, to become better. And then, even the anxiety, he kind of slowly start to overcome, has less grabbing because the anxiety is not so strong now, right? We have seen how he can perform. We even stress test him by bringing him out to corporate office to serve uh, coffee, tea, and snacks, and he's doing it very well, right? So even the mom was surprised. The mom was saying that this is what he's going to do in the first place. I'll never bring him for interview because I really don't believe he can do something like that. So that give the mother a different perspective that, hey, my son actually has the ability. He's just waiting for someone to help them achieve the potential. And that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to achieve that.
Okay, so let me just jump in and share what I heard from you.
Mm,
So, I mean, in terms of their ability to learn, so you guys start with, hey, they are not yet there. They are because they assess not suitable for open employment, but you do not stop there. You have been very persistent to try to twist the way, give them the opportunity again to let them experience that they can do it bit by bit. Same for the parents, same for other people, because it's so hard. People stop, but you don't. Okay, that's the number one difference. But in terms of the ability to learn versus the willingness to learn, how are you doing very differently for this group of like special talent? How can you encourage, build their confidence as how you do it compared to how other people build their confidence?
I think for us, or particularly for me, is I look at them as a blank sheet of paper. I don't look at, say, their behavior, therefore they do not have the ability or they are not willing to learn, you know. What I look at is how can we motivate them? What actually drives them, right? So here what we do is we will look at our job role, and then we will actually test them on the different job roles they may require to do, and try to find what is something they like to do best and what they can actually do best as well. And we grow from there. So as we work with them on their ability, we also look at what is happening in the real world. How can we help them adapt to the real world? No? So that's why we stress test them by small little steps, giving them different job at different point of time. There's no structure in there, you know, getting them to stand up the whole day, working, building up their physical stamina. You know, these are all the different small little things that we incorporate. So the whole idea is if we can train them to adapt to the real world, then their success rate become higher as well. Yeah, so which we find that in mainly those that graduate from school is very difficult because they are being taught to be structured. So that's where we want them to adapt to the real, because the real world don't work in such a structured manner as well. Yeah, so that's what we are trying to do to help them adapt.
Let me just summarize what I learned from you. First of all, you really respect individual preferences.
Mhm.
You want them to find the job interesting, right? And then secondly, you don't shy away from the real world. You want them to have a taste of the real world. You think the most important part is actually the ability to adapt. So you keep like twisting the word and then let them feel the real life stress. And that is what helping, because in our language, it's called the moment of success.
Mhm.
The more adaptable they are in terms of how they interact with the real world, the more like sense of achievement that is growing within them. Yes, wonderful. You work on motivation. What else? What else are you helping them differently than other people?
I think for us is we give them a longer period of time to really shine. Yeah, so example, one of my autistic baker, right? So when he first came in, was really very tough. You know, being autistic, they have the structure, they have to, you know, they have to follow the structure, and you know, most of the work he's not doing very well, right? So it takes us about 6 months, 8 months to work with him. uh During that point of time, we really, really wanted to give up and say, oh, this is too much. You know, we still need to run the operation, make money, but we still need to make sure he can be part of a team, right? And that's where we looks into it, that how can we make them an asset? If they are an asset, then it is something that we want to devote more time to. So it takes us a year to actually get him to a stage where he is now better than us. Recently, he just break a record. He did 34 trays of cookie in a single day. Uh, each tray weighs about 500 grams of cookie. So imagine we, right, no, neurotypical normal people, we do max, I think, 20, 22 tray.
Okay.
So that's where we see, hey, now he has the ability. How can he complement us? You know, and that's where the cross-ableness comes in, right? Where we don't see them as you are someone that we need our help, we want to help you. But now we see them as equal, where you have this ability, we have this ability. How can we come in together and, you know, build a more inclusive working environment here that we respect each other?
Understand. So another thing I really learned from Kat is, first of all, you think they have the potential to learn, but now with the demonstrated ability, you actually make them become a core member of your team. But of course, it takes time for 6 months until a year, and then you are not giving up. But now they're showing ability. How do we measure ability? You just gave us a great example. If you are a baker, as a normal person, as we do, we only like bake for 20 trays, but he
Yes.
can make 34 trays.
Yes.
So he's definitely your high performer, right?
Yes. And, and
Say
I think,
your best performer.
yes, and even the rest of the colleague was now depending on him. So every time we have big order, the first thing they ask me is he coming in? You know? So now he's like a superstar in the organization, which is, we feel great in that sense that they are being seen by the rest of the colleague as someone respected, someone good in their craft work as well. Yeah. So that's very heartening for us.
Great to hear all this wonderful story. We have been learning all the good practices from you, that when you think about like cross ability, you're not giving up, you give them the chance, you keep like twisting work, make it interesting, so they are motivated themselves, but at the same time, now they show ability. But what else? But they might be say, hey, Kat is a bit boring, I don't want to do it. How can you keep that commitment? Lastly, before I move on to what a social entrepreneur should not do, okay? How do you
Yeah.
build that commitment?
So we take it step by step. So now he is very good at making the cookies, right? So we move into the next stage where it's one of the critical area where is this dough making. So that is the one that is on the quality of our bake. So that's very important to us. So we bring him in there to test out as well. So for him to learn a new thing, he learn fast, you know, he learn fast. But then we still need to keep an eye on him, right? So we are now slowly bringing him in that space where he's learning how to make a dough. You know, sometimes his motor skill is not there to do certain things. So we take note of all this and see how we can maybe even redesign either processes or even assistive devices to help him to achieve that. Yeah, so that's the part that we are now slowly moving him to different area where he has already surplus. So we don't want him to just, okay, for the rest of his maybe 10, 20 years with us, maybe he will just do cookie. But a lot more things that he can do, but scaffolding. He will still go back to the cookie making because we don't want him to drop that standard, but we
Yeah.
want to add more things for him. So there's more thing and more thing for him to do that from forward going, he can do with more ability, more tasks as well.
I know that you are not just helping one person by just twisting the word to make one of your special talent to really shine. But I know that you have been helping more than 400 within like the last 5 years. Can you share with everyone else that why they're willing to stay with you? Because they know that what you have been putting into the business. Can you share with the public that what kind of funding are you having to build your social enterprise?
Well, we don't have we don't go for funding in that sense, grants and all this. We are self-funded through my own money, through debts as well. And the whole idea, it also gives us the responsibility because it's all on us to make sure they do well. At the same time, they can perform. I think for them and for the caregiver is to understand that we are putting the effort to really create this space, this safe space for them to learn, as well also to grow into the employment arena as well. So even some of the parents were so grateful as well that there is this platform for them to come and learn. And then for some parents that we employ their children is also grateful in the sense that they have a very safe space to work and they are showing the potential, you know, that they are asset to the company and not someone that, hey, the company just want to do good. They just employ them, and when the company is doing so well, they cannot handle them. They're out of job the next moment. So they understand the effort that we put in to support their children as well.
So there are two parts in like putting your own money, your personal money into a business. One is you help all your like SEN team members to understand that you trust in them.
Mhm.
So that's why they need to reciprocate that trust and really commit to the work. But there's another part in it because you're running a real business. If you are putting in your own money, you're even having debt. But if there's no return, would you like to continue or not?
I think that has never crossed my mind because I think what I've always been looking forward is how can we sustain, at the same time the impact comes in. That's why for us the financial sustainability and the social impact are all intertwined together. So we just focus on one. So which I have go for sales. The more money I make, the more social impact I will create. So I don't have to worry that I make more money, then how do I create the impact? So these two are actually intertwined together in our operation, so that we just focus on one part, which is generate revenue, right? So that helps with social impact. So it makes things easier for us and also for maybe new hire as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Because today we talk about social innovation, but if people just think about, hey, your company has a good cause, but it's not financially sustained, then it won't be able to help more like SEN youth as your business grow. So let's just turn the question to what is that one thing you will advise other people that other social entrepreneurs should not do?
Okay, I think this is something that may be a bit more controversial. Uh, I think the first thing if you want to start is maybe not to go for grant, because if you go for grant, you kind of neglect, your business model. Does it really serve a needs in the market? Can it really work? Because you will be so focused on creating the KPI to get the grant money, you are doing the reports that going to spend so much time and effort that you can actually use for creating on your own business model. So I think the first part is probably make sure the business model work, and then when you're about to scale, grant comes in useful, but maybe not for the initial start where you first straight go get grant. Yeah, because it's challenging if your business model don't work and grant dries up.
Wow, it's a very different like advice because many people when they start social enterprise, they think that, hey, I'm doing like good cause for the community. Then they think someone else might support them. Yeah, it's possible. It's quite common like approach in terms of how to build a company and how to scale up. But I mean, if you want to stand out, first of all, social enterprise is an enterprise. You want to make sure that you have a business model that your customers really enjoy the quality. So can you just share with people that when you just start making cookies at the very beginning, how many cookies have you baked before you're satisfied with the quality of it? And now people are loving it.
I think maybe not the numbers, but the initial part when we first started with our cookie, because we thought when we look into that, that's the most easy to maintain quality for person with disability to manufacture, right? The first cookie or the first few cookies that we do, we were given a shock awakening. The customer was telling us, I only buy your cookie this one time because it is not so good. I'll never buy your cookie again. It gave us a very a good awakening that, you know, we need to improve. We need to do more to make sure this is a financially sustainable business. Because if my cookie is not good and I'm going to sell by sympathy because I employ people with disability, it's not going to work. People don't buy the sympathy, but end of the day, it's about business, right? So it took us about 6 to 8 months to R&D perfect that recipe, and now there's a recurring. So even as we find success in our cookie, we are still doing very, very small refinement to improve it. So there's always tell the team that we don't just spend our laurel. We are good and that's it, we don't do much. Let's look at how we can improve it a little bit. And over time there's a lot of improvement. We don't just want to stop there. So that's where we realized that, it takes us longer time because we don't get grant, right? So I think the first 2 year was very, very hard. And also especially we started in COVID, right? So, but over the 2 years, and then we start to get better review for our cookies, customer come repeatedly for it, then we start looking into programs to support person with disability. And parents have to understand, hey, my sons have the ability to learn. And that's where we see things are turning on a better angle. And who knows, this year might be a good year for us.
Okay, great. So your advice to other social entrepreneur to be or social entrepreneur is actually don't sell based on sympathy. You sell your product, you sell your service because you are so good that people are willing to come back again and again. So that is your product that stand out as a enterprise. What a piece of great advice from you, Kat. I think it's time for us to answer some of the Q&A. Let me see if I haven't got any questions yet, then let me just ask you, because as a social entrepreneur, at the beginning, I'm sure it's so tough. If you have to give people one piece of advice, what the one thing you must do at the beginning when you set up a social enterprise, what is that holding on to give you that strength to continue?
I think for me is, end of the day, what do I want to achieve? And okay, that is what I want to do. We want to create employment. We want to give this 70% person with disability opportunity to learn and grow. Then you have to find all ways and means to do that. So if we try this way, it doesn't work, let's try the next one, And then from there, we can see some breakthrough. Is this the right thing? So let's continue. But as you know, in business, everything change, after a certain time, right? So it's not a fixed. So we also always have to be adaptable. So we have to keep learning. So like for me, I keep learning from different people, read a lot more what's out there in different markets, how did they do their social enterprise in different way, to see what are some of the things that we can adapt and use locally, right? Yeah, so this is something that we for me personally, I think is very strong. That you must have the persistence to continue trying, not trying the same way, but different ways, so that we can see what kind of result we can achieve, and also to be adaptable, very open to say, uh, what can we do differently, or even with collaboration, how can we work with other people to create that impact, to create the sustainability, and not just say it's all on me to do everything. You see, yeah.
I mean, what I hear from you that came to my mind are two words. Many social entrepreneurs, they will say, hey, this is why we do this. But what I hear from you is you are actually saying, why can't? Not just why, okay? When you say why can't, that means you're not giving up, you're being so persistent until you find a solution to really deal with the situation, okay? So to me, why can't is a equivalent to her cat, okay? So what else? I mean, if you just think back for your social entrepreneur journey for 15 years, right? What is one thing you find it so memorable? What keep you going personally?
I I think for me is seeing how the marginalized group that has no opportunity was given up hope on, and how we can do a little bit to change that, from them to someone that say, hey, this guy is really at the bottom of the pyramid. I don't waste time on him, to after working with him, he is now a star performer. He is someone that we find that, hey, they can do more. This is something that throughout my 15 years journey with social entrepreneurship and working with people with disability, all marginalized group, that I've seen that they all has the ability to learn and grow, but we just don't give them that time and the resources to do that. So I think that's something that is always in me. to continue, which is why you can see even like Flower Power, we are always trying out new idea to see how we can support. So even like those that are not able to work, we are creating micro jobs that serve corporates, pantry service to try out to see is this maybe a more sustainable way for them to slowly go into employment. Well, this is something new, right? We don't know, right? So we don't try, we will never know. So that's where we will keep trying new ideas, even though we have maybe come up the money ourselves initially to start the whole thing.
Kat, what you have been doing impressed me because you are not just helping those marginalized communities in Singapore. We met in Hong Kong back then in 2019, okay? You are helping the Dignity Kitchen in Hong Kong that you originally found as a general manager there in Singapore. And also, you are also spreading your like social innovation ideas in the Philippines. So you are expanding to the ASEAN region. What do you see in common for what are the help that those marginalized community needs in ASEAN region?
I think for me, when I look at them, is they all wanted to learn, to have the opportunity to learn, to have the opportunity to have employment, to have someone trust them, I think. And what we see is sometimes society don't do that. Society tends to say, hey, you are a person with disability. What can you do? You can't do much, right? You're not like us able, maybe at most 50% of the work that you can do. So let's not waste time. I believe they really have the ability. It's how we give them that trust, that resources, that time for them to show us what they can really, really achieve. And across this region, that's what I've seen. And I think that's what we also wanted to do, that we don't just want to have it in Singapore, but how we can share this knowledge, this expertise out there in the region to help more. Yeah.
Great, great. So it's almost time to wrap up. And then maybe before I ask Kat how to like redefine the cross-ability social innovation redefine, let me just share what I heard from you today that stands out to me. Okay. First of all, when it comes to like cross-ability, even like normal people like we do, we need our leaders to trust us. If our leader don't trust us, there's nothing we will do differently. Secondly, even you trust people, you still need to give them the guidance as like what Kat does and his team does. You need to twist the task until they feel a sense of achievement. But what really keep them going is the commitment, is the willingness. So you have to tell them if you got challenged, it's okay, even for the like marginalized community, you can share with them. It's cats their own money. They put themselves into debt. Not for them, but for a business that they try to co-build together. And all these are wonderful ideas that link back to situational leadership. It's all about ability and it's all about willingness. What a leader have that like accurate diagnosis on where they are. So Kat and his team is actually applying those support and relationship behavior at the time your team needs it. Okay, back to you, Kat. If you have the opportunity to tell everyone what kind of support that you want them to work with you, is there any partnership opportunity to work with Flower Power before we say goodbye to everyone today?
Yeah, I think for us is we are looking at Singapore as a like proof of concept of some of the things that we are trying out. So we are actually looking like if in ASEAN, Asia Pacific region, that there's anybody that are keen in something that we do, maybe can contact us. So just like India, so India is very keen. They are even talking about, hey, can we go there and do a demo workshop to see, to let the parents have a feel of how their child can have the ability to learn. So this is something that we wanted very much to spread how we can look at them at a different light. Yeah, so if anyone that is keen, maybe just, send me a message, we could have a conversation.
Yeah, that's great. Let me share my one last secret before I end today. back into my corporate role as a head of HR back then in 2008 when I worked for a Dutch fintech company. My big boss sent me a newspaper clip telling me that, hey, Polly, the future leaders will be autism leaders. At that times, people will be wondering whether it's true, but I can tell everyone that the community is a population of the SN group is really growing. It's quite likely that someone working right next to you, that might be experiencing some sort of like special learning needs. So make sure that we learn how to work with this group of special talent and make ourselves and our community even more sustainable. Okay, thank you for everyone's time and thank you for Kat's time. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
talk to you again next time.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.